Hi, welcome to step 10, which will be, welcome to step 10, creating the cluster context for the new user. And in this step, what we're going to do is we're going to create a Kubernetes context that accommodates the new user Dick Tracy. And as you might remember from the previous step, Dick Tracy had a limited set of permissions in the cluster. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to clear the screen so that we can get a sense of what's going on. And then I'm going to look at the configuration of the current cluster by typing kube control config view. And as you can see, the cluster has but one context, and that context name is Kubernetes admin at Kubernetes. And it's bound to the cluster Kubernetes, and that's up here, and it accommodates the user Kubernetes admin, who is defined down here. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a new context for the user Dick Tracy, who is also associated with the environmental variable magic user. So let's do step one. So step one means we're going to set the credentials. So we'll go set the credentials. And as you can see, it's saying the user Kubernetes Dick Tracy at Kubernetes has been set. Okay, and you can look at the details of the credentials when you do this scenario on your own. Then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to switch the context to use Dick Tracy. Right now, our current context is Kubernetes admin at Kubernetes. So let's switch the context. And as you can see, the context is switched. Now, let's clear the screen because we have a lot of noise. So we're going to clear the screen and let's view the current context. The current configuration. And as you can see, there are now two contexts. There's the context that we had originally, which is for Kubernetes admin at Kubernetes. But now we have a new context called Dick Tracy at Kubernetes. And Dick Tracy at Kubernetes is bound to the cluster Kubernetes, and it's bound to the user Dick Tracy at Kubernetes. And if we look down here, there is the user Dick Tracy. And so that's the step. And next step coming up is we're going to create the role binding and the role for the user.